I am very excited to be with someone who's become a close friend on my fitness journey, Alaina Pilarinos, aka Macro Mommy on Instagram. Alaina, it's great to be with you.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, I've loved getting to know you over the last year and change, and we've had the chance to model together, take
hmm
some fitness classes together. But you really do have an amazing story and journey, and I'm excited to learn more about it tonight.
Thank you.
So the question I love asking everybody I talk to is, where were you born and where'd you grow up?
I was born in Hudson, New York, and I grew up in Hudson and eventually moved to Kosaki, Athens, and then I made my way up here.
So Hudson has become a hotspot for New York City folks, and it's certainly looks a lot different than what it probably looked like when you grew up. So what was it really like to grow up in Hudson at that time?
So in Hudson, it was really abandoned. There was nobody there. Um, a lot of little shops, nothing crazy, no restaurant scene like it is today. And it was basically just falling apart. I grew up in the woods, so I was country all the time outside, and that was basically it. Yeah.
So what brought you up to Albany?
Um, this guy over here, my husband. So we he is in the diner business. He's in the restaurant business. And we found better opportunity up here to open up more places, expand Capital City, Ambrosia Diner. So that's what brought us up here. We landed right in the middle so we could go back and forth to both places, which is Clifton Park.
So how old were you when you were first starting to build out these diners down in like Greene County and Columbia County?
So this was a family business for him. And he's had them since I've known him. And then when we moved up here, I was probably, how old was I? When we built Ambrosia's, I was in my early 30s.
What was that like being a young person and being an entrepreneur and building out these restaurants?
Well, I mostly did the mom thing and I let him do the hard work. So,
Yeah, but
mhm.
that's important. But you've spent some time working in the
Oh, yeah.
restaurants.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. When he needs a waitress, I'm there. If he needs somebody up at the front, I'm there. So I'm constantly trying to help him and do what he needs because you always need somebody in the restaurant business.
I've talked to a lot of people in the fitness space who have also kind of dabbled in entrepreneurship. So,
Mhm.
as you worked in these restaurants, as you supported your husband in building these out, what kind of things did you learn along the way, kind of building out these restaurants together?
Um, we learned personally, we learned that we have to keep business and our lives separate. Big, big rule. Um, and there's just so many different things that I've learned. I can't even way to put me on the spot,
Well, let me help
Alec.
you out because I think the reason why I'm asking the question is so many people, especially on fitness, and we'll certainly
Mhm.
talk about your fitness journey.
Yeah.
When they prioritize that, it motivates them to really attack other areas of their life. And I've seen a lot of that with people who are entrepreneurs. And especially for somebody who was as young as you were, working alongside your husband and building these out, it's very impressive to me how you two built the businesses and the restaurants in, Greene County, Columbia County. And before we started recording, Bob just showed me these amazing photos of the renovation
Mhm.
at Cap City Diner. Saying reno like it's a slang term. The renovation. So it just there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Yeah.
So from the big picture perspective of just the hardships that must have gone into kind of that journey, when you look back at it, what are the big things that you kind of take away from it all?
Um, being committed. Being committed is the biggest thing. There are so many times that he wanted to stop, and I admire him so much that no matter the things that happen to him during even a week now, it's just crazy how much can he endure, and he does not care. He just goes and goes and goes, and I just try to be there for him and help him. If he needs me to come in, I do, but Commitment, I think, is the secret to success all the way. As long as you're committed and you don't stop and you just keep going and going and going, yeah, it's going to be hard. But he always just picks up from where he left off and he goes. So,
So let me pivot to commitment. You
yeah.
brought up that word. You're certainly somebody that prioritizes their fitness, their wellness.
Hmm.
What was that like for you when you were younger? Were you always into being athletic or fitness being a
No,
part of your life?
nope,
No. Okay.
no. So when we moved to Kasaki, Athens, and I had these two little kids. I was a young mom, and he was working all the time. So I needed a break every once in a while. There was this little YMCA down the street, and I heard they have childcare. So I was like, oh, I'm going to take a class and I'll have a break just to clear my head. And I took one class and I fell in love with fitness. I was sold from then on out, and I decided to become an instructor. And the first class I ever taught, became certified in, was Zumba. Yeah,
I bet you crushed it at that.
I loved Zumba so much. Actually, I still wish I taught Zumba, and it was so much fun. I loved it. I got a break. I didn't have many friends there. I met so many moms, so many friends, and it gave me that sense of community. When he was working, doing his thing, I was still busy, got a break from the kids, and I had friends, and I got to do Zumba.
So there was the Y in Hudson.
The YMCA in Kasaki,
Oh,
Athens.
Kicksaki. Okay.
And it was one room. There was no equipment. It was just group exercise back then.
Wow.
Yeah.
I loved doing Zumba when I was doing content with
Hmm.
Best Fitness. It was one of my favorite classes to do a profile. There were these women in it who are, I'm sure, still religiously doing it every Saturday morning in Schenectady. Some of them who had been doing it for more than a decade together.
Oh, yeah.
And it humbled me. I love to dance, as you know, but the
Mhm.
level of movement that a lot of these ladies, I say ladies because there are some guys who do it, but it's so impressive, some of the choreography that goes into it. So was that
Yeah.
fun for you just to come up with different choreography
Oh, I
and implement it
loved
all?
it. I love dancing. I love music. So, yeah, I loved it. And it was fun. Zumba is fun and it's good cardio. So, yeah.
And you talked about childcare being a big thing.
Oh, yeah. I think if anybody has a gym, put childcare. The new moms, they need it. They need 1 hour to themselves. Yeah, I think that's really important for new mothers to have a sense of community, making friends, being able to get out if they don't have family, somebody to watch their kid for just 45 minutes, for an hour. It's such a big deal. It really is.
Yeah, it's huge. And I'll mention Best Fitness again because when I was doing content with them, that was another one of my pieces that I loved highlighting with them.
Mhm.
I loved doing a little collab with Taylor Hill and about her own kids and highlighting the fact that it is a resource. And you're 100% right. I will not understand for the life of me why more gyms aren't making this a priority because it is night and day a difference of getting more people into the gym.
It really is. And it's good for a mom, mental health, just to have that one little break and get all your frustration out at the gym because it's such it relieves stress. So it's great. Like I love my kids, but an hour break is nice.
How old were your kids when you first started doing the Zumba instructing down in Greene County?
I believe my middle son, Aristotle, he was 3. And Anastasia, that would make her like 9, 3 and 9. Yeah.
Awesome names for the
Oh,
kids.
yeah.
For
Can you tell they're Greek?
Aristotle, I'm like, okay, let's put that in the back of my head. If I ever have kids, that'd be
Yeah.
a cool name.
Or
Yeah.
we call him Ari for short.
Ari. Okay, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Hmm.
So you started as a Zumba instructor.
Yep.
Now, can you walk me through the timeline of how you got into other classes? Because I know you coach spin. I know you've done other types of classes. Walk me through
Yes.
that journey.
So during that time, I became a Zumba instructor. Um, I was like, you know what? Get my group X. I got my group X. And then I'm like, I just started collecting the certifications. I became a group X instructor. And then became a spin. And then I learned how to do, I don't know if you know these classes, willpower and grace. I became certified in that. Pound. Um,
Yeah, let me
Bunch of
ask you
different
about
things.
those. So,
Yeah.
just because people watching have various exposures to group fitness. So,
Mhm.
group X, in your what is that to you?
It's being able to be fluid as an instructor in the gym. Basically, you could teach any kind of format. So if I want to teach high low, step, anything, I'm covered to teach.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then spin is relatively self-explanatory. That's I think most people kind of kind of walk through what that is. And but is there
Yes.
anything specific to that that was surprising to you when you were going through that process of being an instructor?
Of spinning.
Yeah, just like
Um,
anything that people wouldn't necessarily think is involved in getting certified.
it's just basically a long day. And as long as you have like your group X or you're a personal trainer, it's just a day class. It's
Okay.
nothing crazy. And it's your responsibility to become good and practice and know the music and know what's gonna happen.
And the other classes you mentioned, pound, can you walk me through kind of what those were?
Okay, so pound, it was a class about probably, wow, 7 years ago, and you had these drumsticks. It was kind of like Zumba, but you were drumming to the beat
Like
of
Blue
the
Man Group?
kind of, we got to do squats and yeah. So if you wanted to do a drum beat, you would have to squat to the floor to hit the floor. So it burned.
So I'm just imagining you in blue paint now, just
Okay.
banging on a drum. But I have taken a spin class with you at Vent
Yeah.
Fitness. What's your approach to kind of the performance aspect of being a spin instructor?
So I love the music. I love the beat. And I try to make it so that way everybody could relate to every single song that I play. And I like the remix. So the remix is big. And I try to make it sort of into a dance class. I want every move that I make to hit every single beat and to be able to like kind of want to dance to the song. So it goes by quicker, not just like, okay, get up, sit down. Here comes a hill. Let's do jumps. I want you to feel the jump in the song. So I spend hours and hours coming up with the songs. So if it's a hill, it's slow, or however the beat will make your body feel, I want the move to do that.
I've
Does that
seen
make
that. It
sense?
makes total sense
Yeah.
to me.
It feels better in the class, right?
Yeah, in that
Yeah.
one class that I did with you, I could tell the effort that you had made into kind of laying that out, and I always appreciate that.
Thank you.
Whether it's like a bar or a Pilates class, like I had Tommy Birch on, who we both know,
Hmm.
and I know she puts a ton of time and effort into really putting together so methodically. And it was cool to see that you had done the same thing with your spin classes because I've done spin classes at Vent, at Best Fitness, and I was going to ask you. The performer in me was curious about the layout. So at Best Fitness, the way the classes I've done, the instructor will be right in the middle, right in front of everybody. And with
Hmm.
Vent, it felt a little bit more like a kind of professor doing a lecture. At least that one room I was in with you.
Yeah.
Do
I
you
never
have
thought of it like that.
does that feel different for you? Like if you're off to the side versus like right in front of your class?
Not really. I've
Okay.
done either way. When I'm at Vent, they had that huge screen with you feel like you're riding through the scenery.
Yeah.
So I don't really I kind of act like no one's watching me and just do my own thing. Like
Okay.
I like dance a little bit more and I'm just a little more like so but when I'm in front of somebody, um I guess yeah, I guess I do act a little different and perform a little different.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a small thing. The theater person in me noticed it, and I just have always thought that it's such a powerful type of class. And I might think about it differently because I'm more of a theatrical performer type
Yeah.
brain. But it really is interesting to me when you have that energy between an instructor and an audience or a class. And spin compared to other classes seems like it has that power to really have that stronger connection between
Mhm.
whether I'll use the terms actor and audience or there or in this case coach and instructor. Uh, but I know you teach other types of classes and can you walk me through some of the other types of classes you teach now?
Yeah, I right now I currently only teach the spin class and a class called Chisel. So Chisel is Basically, I do what I feel like doing that
Is that
week.
also at Vent?
That is, I teach that sometimes at Vent, I'll teach it, and I also teach at ABC as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if it's whatever you feel like doing a particular day, what
Yeah.
do you usually feel like doing with your chisel class?
All strength. And I do have a older active group. So I'm really cautious about going to the floor, doing things with our knees. We always do option one, two, three to make it easier for them. Um, it's something always for strength because I believe that the people that I'm teaching, older active adults, it's really important for them to keep their muscle and build their muscle.
Yeah. And that's so cool, first of all, that you have
Mhm.
that mindset and mission about it. What led you to feel like you wanted to pursue that type of work with that type of like fitness audience, I guess? Because I think some people have a preference of they want to work with certain types of people, or like personal trainers who want to do like online coaching are really into that. But you seem to really enjoy the group fitness class environment.
Oh,
Was there
I love them. Yes, they're my ladies. I love them to pieces.
what do you love about it?
I Well, being able to help them, first of all. If anybody has an issue, they always come to me. They tell me. I love being able to help them that way. And just making them feel good about their bodies and letting them know, hey, I see you. You're working hard. I notice everything on everybody. So I can see immediately, because I'm a coach as well, if something changed. And I'm like, hey, you look great. Like your arms look awesome. Your legs look great. So, yeah. And teaching them that you don't have to do hours and hours and hours of cardio. Like, I don't want them to do that. I want them to strength train and I want them to eat protein and they will preserve their bodies and they'll look great.
Yeah, and you talk about eating protein and
Hmm.
thinking about bodies, and for people who are prioritizing their fitness and wellness, that concept of macros and hitting those is so big. And especially for women of a certain age, they're
Hmm.
even more conscious about it and sometimes feel overwhelmed about it. You've made that a major priority in what you do. Again, you go by Macro Mommy
Hmm.
on Instagram. So, what led you to want to help? And I'm sure you help people beyond women, obviously, but for especially the women that you work with, what led you to want to help women in that particular way?
So I see all these women constantly, they think that they have to starve themselves and they have to do hours and hours of cardio. You They don't have to do that. And they're ruining their bodies. They're wasting muscle and they're creating cortisol and hormone issues by doing this because so many women still think you have to starve, and men too, starve yourself and do hours and hours on the treadmill or whatever. And you will have a better body if you are strength training 4 times a week, maybe five, for an hour, resting and prioritizing your protein and making sure you eat protein, your carbs, and your fats because that's what your body needs and what it craves.
Why do you think that pressure is so strong for so many women? This obsession of thinking that they have to be super, super skinny, and God forbid they look bulky instead of thinking, I want to be strong and obviously be muscular.
Yeah. I mean, I know guys don't even like that, right? That really super skinny look.
I mean, I think strong is the new sexy. I
Yeah,
mean, strong
strong
is the
is the
new
new
skinny.
sexy. Yeah, it is. I feel like women just put too much, um, how do I want to word this? They just think that we've been taught, like especially if you were a teenager in the 90s, to starve yourself with all the supermodels, and they're not trusting the process. So eating more and picking those weights up is the process. And if you stay to that, you will have your dream body.
Yeah. I ask you this because I know a lot of female fitness coaches have sometimes been outright bullied and
Mhm.
had all sorts of DMs, and sometimes it comes from men, but a lot of times unfortunately I've seen that it comes from women. And in a culture where obviously we want to have women supporting women and strong men supporting strong women, it's so disheartening when I see women who are killing it in the gym each and every day. I think of some coaches of metabolic that are friends of mine that have gone through this, and having people, ridicule them as looking manly. And I want to figure out who these people are and, like, beat on them myself and defend them, because it's so frustrating. So have you had any stories like that of people kind of going after your physique goals at all?
Nobody went after my physique goals, but one time someone said my outfit was stupid online, and that was the
That
worst.
was the worst.
Yes. Yeah, that
That
real
was triggering.
it triggered me. Yes. I was so upset. They said that I need to stop doing outfit reviews or something, and I was mad. I was really mad.
Yeah. Yeah, you should be mad. I mean, you gotta
Yeah.
look good and feel good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I put a lot of time and thought in my outfits.
Yeah. So what do you think we can do to help change the culture in a positive way, to really advance in a healthy way, that strong really is the new sexy, that strong is the new skinny, and that we want men and women to be able to be living in, strong, muscular bodies that actually support a real lifestyle?
So keep preaching what we're preaching, keep giving the information, and you're never going to change it. People are always going to be triggered by something you're doing, no matter what it is. It's how they feel inside them. So if they're not feeling good about themselves, of course they're going to lash out on this girl killing it in the gym or this guy killing it in the gym because they're not happy with themselves. So,
Well, I think you actually
yeah,
answered my question in a
yeah,
different way, because I think it's about the mindset. It's
it
about
is.
understanding where the
Yeah.
criticism's coming from.
Hmm.
Weak, insecure people are the ones who have to try to tear other people down,
Absolutely.
rather than look at somebody and say, "Wow, that's awesome. Like, let me continue to be inspired by them to continue to work on myself." And ultimately, it's you versus you. So for you now, what are some of your own fitness goals?
Right now,
Yeah.
okay. Like, let me get my list out.
Yeah, let's walk through them each one.
Okay, so I go in waves. And right now, I've been so busy with work, with the meal prep business, with diners and the kids. And oh, I'm going to be a grandmother. We're going to be grandparents.
Congrats.
Thank you. So we've been really busy with that. So right now, it's just prioritizing getting all my food in because sometimes I do not eat enough, getting all my meals and making sure it's always the same. My 5 times a week in the gym and eating my food. It never ends.
So what do you focus on for your own training right now? You mentioned strength training, but do you have a particular approach of how you like to do strength training?
Yes, I love bodybuilding. Now that I'm getting older, I hurt. My body hurts. My shoulders hurt, my knees hurt, and I feel as though bodybuilding gives you the best look without damaging your body cuz I can't jump anymore. I can't run. I can't do any of that stuff. And it's so much more gentle on my joints.
So
Mhm.
what does bodybuilding really mean for you? Because that can be a loaded term, and I know there's all different types
Mhm.
of bodybuilding. So for you now, based on, and again, congrats on being a grandmother
Oh,
soon.
thanks.
So when you're thinking about, looking as only you can look as a grandma, what are your bodybuilding goals?
So my bodybuilding goals are always, well, right now, build the legs back up. I love having nice, strong legs and just being able to preserve my body and live and have a nice, strong body, no injuries, no aches, no pains. And I guess just preservation right now, just keeping it,
Yeah.
right and tight.
I think a lot of people, unfortunately, only really get motivated or inspired to go on a fitness or wellness journey when they get very particularly bad health news. And it's like kind of something has to go terribly wrong in order for them to get things in a better direction. Does it change for you the thinking of your own fitness journey, knowing that you're about to be a grandmother? I'm curious because I think sometimes, obviously, if people know they're going to be a parent, that changes things. But does it change any of the dynamic for you knowing that you're going to be a grandma?
Um, No, not really. I mean, I think I might be babysitting a lot, so I'm gonna have to find another YMCA. So,
Okay.
or you said Best Fitness. I can go to Best
They do.
Fitness.
It's
Okay.
Schenectady. Yeah.
All right. So I may need them.
Yeah.
And so it really doesn't change at all. It's just about showing my kids that I go to the gym, eat healthy, and they want to do it too. So it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. What's that like for you now with your own children, seeing you doing your thing? What kind of conversations do you have with them about their own fitness goals?
My kids, I don't mean to brag, but
Brag on them. Let's go.
okay, they are so motivated. My little guy, um, Dino, he is still like a little with the food.
Another great
Well,
name, by the way.
his real name is Dionysus. We call him Dino for short.
That's so awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, so he's still not all the way there with food yet because he's only 11. But my 16-year-old, he meal preps. He will not have ice cream because he's like, oh, mom, how much protein? How much protein do you need? He's always flexing on me. He's like, hey, mom, look at my biceps. And he goes to the gym. He goes to the gym all the time. Sometimes he motivates me. Sometimes when I don't feel like it, he's like, mom, let's go. Let's go. You're eating that. So yeah, he's an amazing kid, and he wrestles. He does off season right now, and he goes to the gym. So yeah, my kids they're great when it comes to all this. And my mom did that for me. She always cooked everything homemade from scratch. She always worked out. And I used to hate her for it because I would look at other kids. They would have Chips Ahoy cookies in their lunchbox. And I would have these like homemade oatmeal and a salad, like a really good one, like a chef salad.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy she did that because it carried on those healthy habits to when I'm an adult. And I see my kids already wanting to prioritize their eating, and they're working out, and they're seeing how successful that'll make them in other areas.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's so important. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be a parent, but I know how important good behaviors are to model. And I think of the love that I have for my father who passed away last year, and for all the, the things I know he wanted to work on and have different in his life. He always modeled unconditional love, and that love that you're modeling for your kids of just kind of prioritizing that lifestyle. Obviously, it's emulating for them, and they see that. So when you think about what kind of habits that likely means for your own kids with their children, what kind of thoughts go through your mind, kind of hopefully exciting ones about kind of passing on that type of legacy?
Um, well, first, healthy habits. So I'm happy that they'll be teaching their kids healthy habits. And being able to make those hard choices because food is accessible everywheres. And I see my kids saying, no, I'll have this instead. So them being able to show when they have kids that they'll be able to do this, that feels great because food can kill you.
Yeah, but I do want to ask you about a fun food topic that I
Okay.
have a strong opinion on, and I
Okay.
know everybody has one, whether they admit it or not. Now you all are in the diner business with the
Hmm.
Cap City Diner in Albany and the Ambrosia Diner in Queensbury.
Yes.
There are very strong opinions in the capital region of the best ice cream stand. So you mentioned ice cream with your son earlier. Do you have a favorite ice cream spot or favorite ice cream spots, plural, in the capital region?
I like Hainer's.
Where's that?
Hainer's, it's in Clifton Park.
I haven't been to that one yet.
No,
No.
oh my God, it's so good.
Okay.
It's delicious. I love them. They have the Perry's ice cream.
Are you soft serve or hard serve?
Hard. Yeah,
Hard.
yeah. I like ice cream with a lot of crap in it.
What do you, so when you like are going to town, like when you just
Uh-huh.
don't care about when you're like, all right, I've hit my macros, I'm going all in on an ice cream. What's you like unleashed for ice cream?
Uh, it is moose tracks and then a scoop of piece of cake.
Okay.
Double, yeah. Hmm.
Now, in terms of Stewart's ice cream, obviously, a lot of people are passionate about Stewart's. Do you have any go-to flavors there?
I like that. It's actually a frozen yogurt,
Okay.
raspberry chocolate tort. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you that more seriously because I think a lot of people if they are on a diet or if they're on a nutrition plan, if they, in their mind, like fall off the wagon like one time, whether it's with alcohol or whether it's with other food that they know they have to be moderate about, a lot of times they just kind of give up. So, what's your mindset about people incorporating those types of fun foods into their broader nutrition plans?
So when you do macros, and I believe you should never cut out any food, especially if you love it. Why would you do that to yourself? Because you're just going to cheat. So, this is why I love macros. If you want to have that ice cream, fit it in your macros. Don't eat it just because it fits your macros. Don't have it for every single meal and don't have it every single day, but you can fit things in that in those numbers. Like if you want a donut, you can have a donut if that's your weak spot. I want you to eat those things so that way you're not craving and thinking about it. So yeah, go ahead, eat it.
We've mentioned macros a lot, and I should
Yeah.
have, let me go back. What really are macros for the layperson who may not really understand
Okay.
this concept?
Macros, it's your how like for the individual person, it's how many carbohydrates you eat to protein to fat. So we give you a number and that's how much you eat. And when you're done, you're done.
So, how do
That's
you
it.
work with people to figure out that number of what is
It
right for people?
so it depends on your goals. If you want to cut, if you want to bulk, gaining muscle, staying the same exact weight, how tall you are, if you're a male, if you're a female, what do you do during the day? It's based on a lot of different factors to go in there. What's best for you? Um, and then that's how we do your numbers. Mhm.
And I know you do factor in, obviously, for women, a lot of times the hormonal factors are a key part of figuring out macro plans. Am I correct in that? Or not? Or is
Um,
that a misconception?
I mean, I don't really the hormone factor, uh, there's certain things I wouldn't have a female, well, male too,
Okay.
do. Um, if you go too low on your fats, that can definitely mess up your hormones big time. So I always keep the fats up there. Men and women, yeah, you can do some damage if you don't eat enough fat.
Right, because I shouldn't say just women, because I know for men, the
Yeah.
right types of foods are really important
Mhm.
to support healthy testosterone levels
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
So, what are those types of conversations like with both men and women about whether it's healthy testosterone levels, healthy estrogen levels? Are there any memorable ones that come to mind for you?
Well, if I think someone's having a hormone issue, I will send them immediately to the doctor that we work with and have their hormone levels tested. So I know how to go about that for them. Because if you're in your late 30s, early 40s, and you're starting your fitness journey and you just feel like nothing's happening, go get your hormones tested. It might be that one little tiny thing you may need, and it'll make all the difference.
So, a lot of people are constantly playing the comparison game. And I think a lot of people who might be of a similar age to you might think, oh, like I can never have like her body. I can never like have this, or this. How do you work with people to break through that mindset of constantly kind of, in my mind, selling themselves short on their own possibilities of what they could do to transform their life because they just can't stop comparing themselves to other people?
Um, everybody's journey is different. It's not going to be the same for me, for you. And it's just being loving to yourself and accepting yourself and what your body really is and what it means to you and being nice. So many people aren't nice to themselves. They call them like, do you ever notice that?
Yeah, no, that's true. I
Yeah.
mean, are there things that you do for yourself when you're starting to feel potentially anxious or insecure about something going on in your life? Or maybe you look at yourself in the mirror and you're not happy with yourself in a given morning?
Yeah, if I start to have that negative self-talk, like, "Oh, look at me. I look like a fluffy whatever." I'm like, what? I say to myself, like, "What are you talking about? Like, come on." And okay, going back to the outfit thing,
Yeah.
I'll put a cute outfit on, do my hair and some fake eyelashes,
Okay.
and that's my pickup.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Another thing I wanted to ask you is I think sometimes there's a difference, and I joke with people about how sort of the world of men's self improvement talk and languages versus women. And I feel like stereotypically the men's self-improvement world is always this very like negative, like you are nothing until you're making like $1 million and have washboard abs and all this. And but yet I see a lot of the female messaging be so overtly positive. And sometimes I wonder and I wanted to ask you, being a woman of a certain age, do you ever find concerning certain types of like positive self-affirming talk that might be kind of disguising like real tension points between women within a fitness journey? I guess I'm thinking that if there's a real issue, like let's say there's a group of girlfriends
Mhm.
and one of them might really have a drinking problem, and that might be the obvious thing that's holding them back from their fitness or wellness goals. I think sometimes there might be a temptation to look past that, whether you're a group of men or women. Have you ever run into that with somebody's got something clearly like seriously mental or psychological that needs to be factored in and addressed as part of an overall fitness or wellness journey?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I'm a coach as well, helping people get to their fitness goals. And every single one of my clients, there's something going on that we have to work through to get to that level or that block. So even myself, everybody has that little, I don't know what you want to call it, like little demon or something in them where that prevents them. And I got to call you out. That's a part of being a coach, calling them out, helping them, getting them past that.
Can you think of any particular moments where you had to do that with somebody and hopefully that conversation was taken well? Or maybe it wasn't taken well?
Um, yes, sometimes my clients will fall right off the wagon and they will avoid me. And they won't message me. And I know what they're doing. They fell off. They ate something they didn't want me to know about or whatever. And that's okay. I don't care. I want you to eat things. Um, so just me harassing them and saying, "Hey, listen, do you really want this? Is this what you want? Because if you don't want this, you're wasting my time, you're wasting your time, and you're wasting a lot of money. So, what are you doing?"
Yeah. Now that makes sense to me.
Hmm.
I just think that's so important for a lot of people to have real accountability,
Oh,
because I
yeah.
think there's certainly extremes where people are so positive and like, yeah, girl, slay, queen, like go get it. And but there's or reverse for the guys where everybody's just so hard on each other and being so hardcore broy that there's a space in the in between, bridging the gray, where you have to be able to have that tougher conversation with certain people. Where ultimately, I'm sure for you, you're coming into those conversations from a place of love and
Of
wanting to help
course.
them.
Yeah.
Uh, so I can think of even like my 710 crew at Metabolic and Colony, where we've had moments where we're talking with each other, and maybe somebody was out till 3 in the morning getting kind of lit the night before, but yet they're still there at 710 doing the work,
Mhm.
because ultimately they're holding themselves accountable to themselves and the group. So when you've had some of those tougher conversations and the person figures it out, how does that make you feel?
Oh, great. It makes me feel like this person could have completely, totally fell off their plan and went back to their own ways, but had the talk. They came back to me. They came back to fitness. They came back to eating.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you're somebody who obviously prioritizes your workouts. What is it like for you when you feel like you've just had a bad workout?
Um, well, I don't, a bad workout for me would be if I'm just not feeling great. I'm, I didn't eat enough the day before, so I'm not fueled properly. So for me, it's just I feel happy that I went to the gym. Sometimes that's all you need to do. Just get dressed and go to the gym. And if you're there, you're going to work out. So, but yeah, that's,
No, that makes sense to
yeah.
me. I think of it as more so it's the language of consistency.
Hmm.
You're never going to have a banger workout 365 days a year,
No.
but 365 consistent beats the hell out of 75 hard. And I always try to preach that, because ultimately a lot of people put all this undue pressure on themselves. So, as somebody who's made fitness a lifelong pursuit, what are the things in your life that you see looking back at being a younger version of yourself and building out these diners, teaching that first Zumba class, down in Coxsackie? When you look back at it all, what has fitness really given you in the grand scheme of your life?
Um, so confidence for sure, the gift of helping other people, which really means so much to me in so many ways. Um, and
Yeah.
what was
It's so much you have no words because it's
Yes.
just been that impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's given you a lot of things. I mean, I don't want to just speak for you, but when I just hearing your story,
Mhm.
it's really cool to think about. There's a lot of things I've learned, and in my mind, like just make your journey that much cooler by the fact that, working alongside your husband and building out these restaurants together, raising these children together, and being, I'm sure it might be mixed emotions thinking about yourself as a grandparent.
Yes.
Uh, but I I think it's impressive to me what you've built in your life. And the reason why I wanted to ask you that question is I just see with everybody I talk to, when they make fitness and wellness a priority in their life, everything just seems to get better because you have the confidence to pursue what you really want to pursue. And it seems like that certainly was given to you along the way as you continued on your fitness journey. Is that fair?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely it was. Mhm.
So I want to thank you so much for sitting down with me and just sharing so much more about your overall fitness journey. It's been great to learn so much
Thank
more about it all from
you.
you.
Thank you, Alec. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.